Beneath the Foreign Sky. Part 1. Stephanie and Emeka, University of Benin years. Evenings in Benin City had a way of stretching time. The hum of traffic, the scent of roasted corn by the roadside, and the endless murmur of students chasing dreams beneath fading light. On such an evening, Stephanie sat by her hostel window, her pen idle on an open notebook. The pages before her were blank, but her mind was loud, replaying the same questions over and over. How long could she keep pretending everything was fine? The death of her father had thrown her into a kind of silence that even her friends could not reach. It wasn't just grief, it was the sharp, unrelenting panic of survival. Tuition fees, rent, feeding. Every semester was a battle she fought alone, and each one left her more exhausted than the last. Outside, laughter floated from the courtyard. Someone played a love song on a small speaker, the kind of tune that once made her smile. But tonight, it only reminded her of how far she drifted from joy. And then Emeka walked into her story. He came from the kind of background most people forget to notice. An apprentice at Mike's chemist. A young man who spent his days arranging medicine shelves and memorizing prices. But there was something different about him. A calm steadiness in his eyes, a quiet resolve that made people trust him before they even realized why. Their paths crossed one humid afternoon at the university clinic. Stephanie was finishing her shift when he came in carrying a box of medical supplies. He looked out of place, too modest among the white-coated students and shiny instruments. She offered to sign for the delivery, and their eyes met briefly. "Thank you," he said softly. His voice was firm but gentle, like a note struck perfectly on a guitar string. She nodded. "You're welcome." It should have ended there, just another exchange in an ordinary day. But fate, as always, had plans of its own. Emeka began to notice her after that day. The way she always walked quickly, as though outrunning her own thoughts. The way she smiled even when her eyes looked tired. When he found out she was struggling to pay her school fees, something inside him refused to stay silent. He started helping quietly. A lunchbox left at her hostel gate. A few naira slipped into her hand with some excuse about extra change. He never asked for thanks. It was enough just to see her smile again. Stephanie, at first, resisted his kindness. Pride, perhaps, or fear of what kindness might grow into. But Emeka's sincerity disarmed her. He wasn't like the boys on campus with smooth words and hollow promises. He was real, raw, honest, and patient. One night, after a long day at the clinic, she found him waiting by the old mango tree near the back of the hostel. He had 2 bottles of soft drink and a bag of Puff Puff. "I thought you could use some company," he said. She smiled. "And you thought Puff Puff could fix all my problems?" He grinned. "No, but it might make you forget them for a while." They sat beneath the tree for hours, trading stories, hers filled with loss, his with dreams. He told her about how he wanted to open his own pharmacy someday, how he studied every label, every dosage, every prescription that passed through his hands. She listened, surprised by how his hope rubbed off on her. For the first time in months, she laughed, not the polite kind, but a real laugh that came from somewhere deep. That night marked the beginning of something fragile, yet powerful, a friendship that slowly drifted into love. By her final year, Stephanie was no longer the timid, broken girl she used to be. Her grades soared, her lecturers praised her brilliance, and the future she once feared was finally opening its arms. And beside her, always, was Emeka, proud, protective, and quietly in love. Then came the letter. It arrived on a Wednesday afternoon, a thin white envelope with the seal of Oxford University. Her hands trembled as she tore it open, and when she saw the word congratulations, the world seemed to tilt. She ran across campus, her heart pounding, the letter fluttering in her hand like a bird desperate for flight. When she reached the chemist shop, Emeka was behind the counter, counting boxes. "Emeka!" she shouted. He looked up, startled. "Stephanie? What's wrong?" She could barely speak through the tears. "I got it. Oxford. I got the scholarship." For a moment, he just stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. Then he smiled, the kind of smile that held both pride and pain. He came around the counter, held her close, and whispered, "I knew you would. I told you the world was waiting for you." But as he said the words, his heart broke quietly inside him. That night, they sat by the lagoon, where the water shimmered like silver under the moonlight. Neither spoke for a long time. The air between them was heavy with unspoken truths. Finally, Emeka broke the silence. "When you go, just remember, I'll still be here." Stephanie's voice trembled. "You make it sound like goodbye." He forced a small smile. "Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I just know that when the sky changes, people change too." A tear slipped down her cheek, and he reached out to wipe it away, his hand lingering a moment too long. When her flight finally left Nigeria, Emeka stood by the airport glass wall and watched the plane rise into the sky. He stayed there long after it disappeared, long after the air went still again. He didn't move until the cleaner tapped his shoulder and said softly, "Oga, she done go." And only then did he whisper to himself, "She'll come back. She has to." But deep down, he already knew. The sky she was beneath now was too far from his own. Thanks for watching. Please like and share, subscribe, and leave a comment to help grow the channel. Please watch the part 2.